Hello everyone. Good evening. Welcome to today's webinar on the topic Enable users to download BigBlueButton recording and online storage synchronization. So thanks for joining us today. So let me start this session with a quick introduction first. Myself Sasank here, and I lead digital marketing at 3. Along with me on the speaker panel, we have Mr. Anmol Prakash. So Anmol is our VP operations, and he also leads BigBlueButton Solutions Delivery. So before I pass it over to the speaker panel, let me give you a quick intro about 3 Software Solutions. We are a technology company providing e-learning solutions to training, education, and corporate industries. We are specialized in designing and developing full-fledged e-learning ecosystems. For example, LMS and e-commerce for training businesses, LMS and virtual classroom for academia and training, and LMS and ERP for corporates. So, well, that is a very brief one-liner kind of intro of what we are. So, Anmol will lead today's webinar, and he will walk us through the benefits of downloading the BigBlueButton session on the local drive. So how the synchronization works to download it to online storage such as Google Drive. And last but not the least, the benefits of downloading the recording from Moodle LMS. So there will be a quick demo for every solutions. So whatever the download is there. So as per the session goes on, so you may post your queries over to me or Rexon over the private chat, and we will take up your queries at the end of the session. So that's it for a quick base setup. Anmol, now it is over to you.
Yeah, thanks for the quick introduction, Shashank. Hello, everyone. So, as Shashank mentioned, so today we are going to have a webinar about how to download the BigBlueButton recordings. What are the different ways to do that? Okay, and before we proceed ahead with the demo, let's understand what is the limitations with BigBlueButton recordings. So currently, the main limitation here is that these recordings, whichever is created under whatever is created under BigBlueButton, is not downloadable. And the reason being, first of all, the overall the recording files itself is not a single file. It's basically a combination of multiple files. To be specific, it's actually 3 different files which gets created as part of each recording which we create in BigBlueButton. So one will be for related to your audio, another will be related to your video or the presentation, and the third one will be mostly an XML file which keeps a track of all the events which has happened within the session. And ultimately, the player, what we have here to play the recording, that takes care of combining all these 3 different files and synchronizing them in such a manner that overall it seems that the recording uh, has been created as a single file. But that's, as I mentioned, that's not the case. So So the next question comes up over here is how to convert BigBlueButton recording into a single file. That single file could be an MP4 file, or it could be in any other video file format. But MP4 file is a very popular format, so we'll talk about that. So there are open source libraries or extensions available which can help you convert the uh, convert the different files of a recording into a single MP4 file. But again, the problem comes up where if, let's say, you don't know what is the folder structure of BigBlueButton, how the folder structure is organized on the BigBlueButton side, then it becomes cumbersome to actually find out where exactly your recordings exist. Although you can follow the documentation of BigBlueButton and it will give you the information, but for any layman user, it's a cumbersome job to find out where exactly your folder structure for recordings exist, and then go there and retrieve the files, all related files which are related to recordings, and then pass it on to that recorder module or the conversion module, which will convert it into a single MP4 file. And even if you have converted into an MP4 file, it's not straight away available to the users to be downloaded. So you may have to download it to some other file system or to some other local storage, and then host it somewhere on your repository, cloud repository, so that you can make it available to your users. So that's where our solution comes into picture. So we provide this solution as a service, and as part of this service, our team will take care of setting up the recorder module on your system, and they will also set up uh, the module which will convert it into an MP4 file, and will add, if you're using a Greenlight interface to manage your meetings, then we'll add an additional code which can enable you to directly just click on a button to download it from the Greenlight interface, and you will be able to do so. So Greenlight, if you're not aware about it, let me give you a quick intro. Greenlight is nothing but an additional package on top of BigBlueButton, which allows you to quickly start with BigBlueButton and start managing your meetings. And you can add your organization users and provide them some specific roles. So basically, it's a quick way to start with BigBlueButton. And if you don't want to wait for an integration to happen, so you can try exploring Greenlight. The second thing, uh, which we add as part of the service, is this independent UI. Okay, that's another way for you to download your recording. So I'll give you a demo that how that independent UI looks like. It's a pretty simple form under which you can pass either the meeting ID or the meeting recording URL, and that UI will help you download the recordings on your local storage. The third way which we provide here is an API. So not always you will be using Greenlight, not always you would like to utilize the independent UI. So there will be certain cases and some businesses who would like to integrate this kind of a functionality, the direct download functionality, with their uh, with their uh, with a solution or system. So it could be that solution or system could be an LMS platform, it could be an e-commerce platform, it could be any other business website as well. So we provide the additional API code as well, and I'll give you a API overview as well as part of this session, that how the APIs can be called as part of our solution in our solution. So that was a quick brief about our service. That what are the different things we provided. Recently, the new services which we have created around download recordings are since we were getting these kind of requirements, so we have introduced synchronization of recordings on Google Drive. So if anyone is looking to synchronize the recordings automatically from BigBlueButton server to their Google Drive, so we have developed a quick solution for that, and this is now being provided as an additional service from our side. The other thing is we have also introduced a direct recording download option under Moodle LMS. So though there are APIs available, and anyone who is aware about Moodle code and code also can do an integration with our APIs. But if someone is finding difficulty in that, then we provide this service. And in fact, we have created a quick solution, or a more like a plugin customized plugin, which will allow you to download the recordings of which you might have created under Moodle LMS. So Moodle, those of you who is not aware about Moodle is nothing but an open source LMS. It's a popular LMS, and we do provide services, different types of services on Moodle as well. The last thing which we have recently introduced is synchronization of recordings on AWS S3 bucket. It's a similar type of synchronization, the way Google Drive works. It's just about the repository is different. In first case, it is Google Drive. In this case, it is AWS S3 bucket. Talking about our roadmap, these are the things which our team is currently working on. As I was mentioning, that we have introduced independent UI, and there we have an option for admins to log in, but we are also going to come up with an additional option where you can manage your users directly through the UI itself. As of now, the user base is managed manually on, and it is directly updated onto a database site. And so that's why, to make it more independent and more interactive for you to utilize it, we are bringing in an option to manage the users as well. Other things here are reports and insights. So more details we'll be providing in upcoming webinars about what type of reports and insights we are going to bring in. So basically, these reports, I can tell you, are going to be on the line of attendance and overall monitoring your session, that how many users are there in your session and how many users are dropping out of the session. So such kind of insights we are working on, and we are planning to come up with these insights in the coming months. uh, we'll definitely do a separate webinar once we are ready with these reports and insights. Other thing here is auto deletion of recordings. It's more of an enhancement which we are going to bring in on top of the synchronization functionality which we have brought in, so be it with respect to Google Drive or be it with respect to S3 bucket. So this is something in additional enhancements we are going to bring in. And last but not least, performance optimization service is something which we are planning to launch very soon. More details about it will be conveyed in the upcoming webinars. I think we can get started with live demo. So I've listed down what are the different things we are going to cover as part of the demo today. One thing is, the very first thing is downloading the recordings from Greenlight, then downloading the recordings from the independent UI interface. We'll see how API will look, what are the parameters needs to be passed, and how the endpoint looks like. Then direct recording download under Moodle LMS. We'll just see a quick example on a test Moodle instance where we have added this option to download the recordings. Then last thing which you're going to see here is a synchronization of recordings on Google Drive. So let's get started. I'll start sharing my screen. I hope my screen is visible to all. So as I said, the very first thing, we have now come to the Greenlight interface. This is a customized Greenlight interface which we have customized as per our need and branding. I'm going to log in over here. So after I log in, I see some of the meeting rooms which are already created here. Home room, then webinar room, then this physics class 10th. So under home room, I can see the recordings already which have been created over here. Okay, and for a quick demo, let me start the session, and I'll create a small recording, not a very large recording, so that it doesn't take much of time for the processing.
Person in this conference.
So let me scribble something first over here, and then I'll start the recording. I can say this is for Greenlight demo. I'll just start a recording. Just keep it short. So now I'll end this meeting, and the moment I end this meeting, it will start processing the recording. When did the meeting? So the last recording which I have here is of March 31st. So what we are looking of for here is a recording marked on today's date. Let me refresh this page and see whether the recording is available or not. So far it's not available. Let me check it onto the server side as well. So to check it onto the server side, I'll log in onto the server where I have installed my BigBlueButton instance on which I just took a quick recording. I can just type in a command bbb-record double hyphen list. So if I check this, I can see that there is a recording which is under prosanity stage. This RAS means recording, archival, and then sanity. There are different stages of through which a recording processing goes through. So I'll just wait for this to be published. Let me go back here and see. Still the recording is in the processing. Anyway, while this recording is getting processed, I'll show you the UI independent UI interface. So this is an independent UI interface, and this can be deployed under your domain under which the BigBlueButton instance is deployed. So to log in over here, I'm using an admin account. I have logged in over here, and if you see this interface, it is asking for meeting ID and a recording URL. So either we can pass a meeting ID if you know about it, or we can pass a recording URL. I'll show you what do I mean by a recording URL and meeting ID. Let me go back to the Greenlight interface here. So as you can see now, under the recordings table, I can see there is a new recording which has come up over here. Okay, which is marked for April 21st, 2021. And to download it from directly from the Greenlight interface, what you just need to do here is just click on this three dots button, and you will find a download option over here. This is not available by default on the Greenlight site. This is something which we have introduced additionally. If I click on this video gets downloaded onto my local drive on my local machine. So if I click on this, it will open up using the local player. So in my case, it is QuickTime Player. Suppose if I want to download the same recording from the independent UI, then what I need here is either a meeting ID or a recording URL. So for that, I can click on this presentation. This is this is how you must be knowing that how a recording can be played. To play this is the same recording which we took just moments ago, and this is the recording URL. Whatever you have on your browser address, this is your recording URL. So you can just copy this and paste it over here. And the only thing which you need to do here is click on download after that. So now you just saw that there is another video file which got downloaded onto my local system. So if I open this, it's the same file which I just showed you, which can be downloaded from the Greenlight interface. Same thing can be downloaded even from the UI side as well, the independent UI which we have developed. Now coming to the meeting ID. So I'll show you what exactly is meeting ID. I'll go back to the recording playback interface. You see here on your browser URL, you will see this meeting ID as well. You can copy this Instead, if you don't want to copy the whole URL and paste it under meeting ID field, click on download, and it will again download another video file on your local system. So this was about Greenlight and the independent UI. Now let me take you to uh, the API side. Let me just copy this meeting ID for a reference. So this is the API. This is how the API also uh, API looks, and you can make use of it to download the to call the basically uh, link of your recording. So let me show you. So this is an example where you need to pass under your JSON object. You need to pass a key called MID, and under which you can pass the meeting ID over here. So I have copied the meeting ID already. I'll paste it over here, and I'll make an API call. So in return, I'm getting a link. As you can see in the response, I'm receiving a URL. And if I just copy this URL and try opening it under my browser, so this is the same recording uh, which you just did. Okay, and you can write your own specific code to call this because this is a link to the MP4 file on the server side. So you can write your own specific code to either download this directly onto your browser site, okay, or you can write your specific code to fetch this MP4 file on your some other file system. So whichever way you want to do the integration with your application, you can make use of this API and uh, call it through your own application or the platform which you might be using. Another way is to pass the URL. So URL will look like something this. It's the same recording URL, okay, which you can pass. It's just that the parameter will be named as UID instead of MID. If you're passing meeting ID, then the key name will be MID. If you're passing URL, then the key name will be UID. And it's going to give you the same type of a response. So it will ultimately return the URL, and which you can make use of to further decide on how what you want to do with this link. Whether you want to download it on your local system or you want to fetch it on your server side, or whichever way you want to do your implementation or the integration on your application side. So this was the overview of the API. Now let me quickly show you how it works on the Moodle side. So I was mentioning that we have introduced or we have basically customized the existing BigBlueButton plugin for Moodle, and we have introduced an option to download it directly from the Moodle itself. So I've logged in onto the Moodle site. This is just a test instance for the demo purpose today. I'm going under this test course, which has been created already. There is a BigBlueButton activity which has been added here. And you can see there are several recordings already existing for this test class. There are already several recordings which have been taken. I'll try downloading. So as you can see over here, there is a download link appearing. Usually, in case of a Moodle uh, Moodle and BigBlueButton integration, this download option won't be available to you. So when you click on this download, as you can see, there is an MP4 file which got downloaded. and that's how easy it is. So you can download this directly, download this recordings or the session recordings directly from the Moodle interface itself. So ultimately, this download option is using our APIs only, which we are calling from the Moodle code. Now, let me show you. Let me go to the Google Drive sync demo site. So for that, I'm going to log in on to another Greenlight interface. So here, I have got a home room. Let there's one recording which was taken at 5:35 p.m. today, Indian Standard Time. So let me do a quick recording for you again.
The person in this conference.
I have added, let me add this as well. Added some text over here, and let me start the recording so that it remains small. So yeah, I've ended the recording and I'll end the meeting here. Now I've ended this meeting. Let me go to the server side now. Check what is happening on the server side in terms of the recording processing. Okay. So this is a meeting ID I can see, which is getting processed right now. Let's wait a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, I'll open my Google Drive interface. So we have already configured the synchronization, and all the other settings have been already done. And basically, the presentation folder under which all the recordings files get stored onto the server side, that is getting synchronized over here. That is why you can see a folder by name presentation. If I go under this presentation folder, you will see several other folders. Uh, Several other folders, and these are nothing but the folder naming is being done on the basis of the meeting IDs. There are already some recordings which have been synced up over here, and if I go back to the server side, then I can see that this is going to be the meeting ID which I need to look out for. So this recording has been processed. What I will do is I'll show you two different ways. One is how we can do it manually and how this can be automated as well. So first thing, let me show you what we have done for automating this. It's a simple process which we have followed. We are basically using cron functionality of uh, available on the Linux side, where we have created our script which runs the synchronization or which triggers the synchronization. So already we have a code over here. I'll just uncomment it. So now if I check my cron logs. For that, I can just run a command here as first. So I can see that now it has executed the shell script which we have written, and it has synchronized the recording with the Google Drive. I now need to go back to my Google Drive site, and I can see already there is another new folder which has been created. So let me search by the meeting ID itself. I had already copied the meeting ID. I can see this folder has been copied. I can go under this folder, and this is the MP4 file. This is the MP4 file which got synchronized. Along with that, there are several other files which belongs to the recording, which is getting copied over here. Or it's basically meant for backing up the uh, whole folder. So this can be treated as a backup as well. And later on, if let's say you want to rebuild these recordings, right? So these files actually helps in getting or bringing back your recordings. So now if I play this recording here, so what you can see here is it's the same thing which I scribbled. Google Drive Sync demo latest, which is the same thing which I scribbled on while creating a demo session for you, while creating a recording. So, so I was able to cover all the 5 different ways which we have introduced for downloading, or maybe for backing up your recordings, or for easily uh, downloading your recording. So these are the different ways we have introduced. I hope this demo was fruitful for you. If there are any questions at this point of time, then we can take up the questions. So one question I can see over here is the download functionality available only with the admin side on Moodle LMS, or available for students too? So currently, the solution which we have introduced, it's available for students. So it's meant for students uh, because these session recordings, if you are making it available to your students, so it's that even as you saw that option was available for available under the recording table, which in general comes as part of your Moodle learning. So it's actually meant for students, but yes, we can add further more permissions to it, or include more permissions to it, so that it can be controlled in such a way that if you want to make it available only for your admins, then it will be available only for your admins. If you want to make it available for your students, then you can make it available for them as well. But as of now, it is available for students. So the next question here is it possible to download the recording and share it directly over my YouTube channel, where the recordings will be available for a global audience? If this is available, how can we control the uploading too, where I will get a notification email from BigBlueButton that should this video be uploaded to YouTube or not? See, we can automate the process. We can automate this process. The one thing which maybe I might have missed on my roadmap here is we are also planning to do a similar kind of implementation with Vimeo, because Vimeo has some APIs available, and we are exploring their APIs, and we are trying to create a workflow where once the recording has been generated and it has been converted to an MP4 file, then it can be made available to be uploaded onto the Vimeo site. So what happens usually is it goes into a draft stage. It will not go live immediately. It will go into a draft stage where someone from the Vimeo administrator, whoever is handling the Vimeo account, let's say I have a Vimeo account and I am the administrator of it, then I will have to review that draft, which is ready to be uploaded onto the ready to go live on Vimeo. So we are actually working on the similar lines, but right now we are looking to achieve this with respect to Vimeo. If you are specifically looking for a solution on the YouTube side, then we can probably connect over email. We can connect to us over email, and then we can build a solution as per your requirement. And although at a high level I have understood your requirement, and what I see is it's similar to what we are trying to achieve on the Vimeo side. uh, but again, if there are any further elaboration or requirement understanding is required, then we can connect over email and probably have a separate call regarding this, and discuss about how we can take it to do it for YouTube as well. So I'll be happy to help you out, and we'll be happy to build a solution here which can work for your case. So, any other questions? So, if you don't have any other questions, then no worries. You can drop an email to us on 3b underscore info at the rate 3softec.com, and we'll reach our sales team or someone from our operations team will reach out to you. So our services, other services on BPB or the BigBlueButton side are, I'll just give you a quick glance. So we provide services for BigBlueButton installation and configuration. So if you're finding difficulty there, our team can help you out there. We can sign up, and we can perform the installation and configuration for you. You already saw the automatic BigBlueButton recording conversion to MP4. We have now introduced additional services as synchronization, automatic synchronization for S3 bucket or Google Drive. If you are looking for a live streaming setup, that's another thing. If you're looking for a custom installation where you want the customization on the UI side or Greenlight side, and we can talk about it and see if we can create a scope and provide a proposal to you. We do provide technical support, integration with Moodle LMS, and capacity plans. These are our some services on BigBlueButton. There are, of course, there are other services which we are providing on e-learning side and web and mobile app development. So, if you have any such requirements, you can connect to us over our email. So you can contact us through our website. You can email us at 3b underscore info at the rate threesoftech.com, or you can drop an email to hello at the rate threesoftech.com as well. You can reach out to us through our social media channels as well. Uh, the details are mentioned over here. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. That's all I have for today. Shashank, any ending note you want to say?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Animal, for the great presentation. So that's it. This concludes the webinar. Thank you all for attending. So we hope you have learned and enjoyed the presentation. So we will close the session now. Thank you, Animal.